You know that feeling when everything is finally in its place? The drawer that used to be chaos is now categorized by color. The shelf that once sank under stacked papers now breathes with neat, labeled order. And somehow, when your space feels clear, you feel clear. You've been called too particular, maybe even OCD as a joke. But it's not about perfection, it's about peace. You don't organize because that's what perfect people do. You organize because it's how you hear yourself think. And maybe nobody ever said this before, but that love for tidying, for labeling, for giving everything a home, it might be your way of giving yourself one too. You're not just neat, you're intuitive, and there's psychology behind why people like you crave calm through containers. There's a quiet beauty in knowing where things belong, and what makes organizing so special for certain people is that it brings a rhythm to the noise. You're not alone in loving a color-coded planner or feeling slightly anxious when the cushions are out of alignment. Millions of people find genuine relief, grounding, stability, and structure. If chaos outside equals chaos inside, then it makes sense that order soothes your nervous system. This isn't about being a control freak. It's about finding quiet through clarity. You don't obsess, you connect. Every folded towel, every labeled bin is a soft whisper of, "I'm safe now." Because for some, organizing isn't a task, it's a tool for regulation. Psychologists have studied this. People who enjoy organizing tend to have brains that find imbalance stimulating in an unpleasant way. That's because visual clutter increases cognitive load. Simply put, mess isn't just mess, it's mental background noise. And if you're sensitive, emotionally, neurologically, or even empathically, that noise is deafening. Organizing reduces that load. When you sort your space, your brain releases dopamine, the feel-good chemical tied to reward and motivation. In fact, researchers have linked tidying behaviors to self-efficacy, the belief that you can do something and see results. That's powerful, especially if your life ever felt out of your hands. So maybe it's not just serotonin you're chasing, maybe it's a sense of self-restoration. That shelf you're reorganizing for the third time, it's not about control, it's about connection, to clarity, to calm, to yourself. Because for many people who love organizing, the roots run far beneath the surface. Maybe you grew up in an environment that felt emotionally unpredictable, one where you didn't know what version of someone would walk through the door, so you created order in the one place you could: your room, your toys, your drawer. Organizing became safety, a language of stability when nothing else made sense. Or maybe you were raised with high expectations, and tidiness became your armor, a way to feel useful or worthy. In adulthood, that energy can evolve into something beautiful, a sacred ritual of claiming space and direction. But the impulse didn't start in aesthetics, it started in emotion. A child who couldn't fix the chaos grew into an adult who learned to soothe it. And that isn't something to mock, it's something to honor. Let's hold two truths. Yes, organizing can be grounding, but sometimes it becomes compulsive. There's a difference between organizing for clarity and reorganizing because you're spiraling. Between placing something down mindfully and rearranging it 10 times because you can't handle the silence. Only you know the difference, and it's okay if you're not sure yet. Let's ask, is your organizing restoring peace, or is it postponing pain? Are you calming or avoiding? Both are human, but awareness is what transforms a habit into a healing practice. What the world sees as particular, neurotic, or too much is often just a cry for safety, and people who love organizing are not control freaks. They're often highly sensitive souls, attuned to their surroundings, responsive to imbalance, and gifted with the ability to see potentials others miss. It's not about cleanliness, it's about care, for your space, for your sense of internal freedom. To love organizing, to choose where things live and how they rest, is to tell the story of your mind, in objects, in shapes, in stillness. You're sculpting the world into something livable. That's not shallow. That's spiritual. Here's what might surprise you. Many people obsessed with organizing are also deeply empathic. Why? Because external peace helps manage internal absorption. When you feel everything, you need your outer world to feel manageable. Empaths absorb emotions, energy, conflict, even tone shifts. So a messy room isn't just disorganized, it's overwhelming. Aligning your environment becomes a way to filter emotional information. Margins, space, predictability. These are your balancers. You're not superficial. Your need for order is your nervous system holding the line. You're not just cutting clutter. You're building invisible boundaries. You don't have to feel embarrassed about labeling your pantry, color-coding your calendar, vacuuming a certain way. What looks silly to someone else might be your deepest care. Because sometimes your love comes through in invisible things. Fresh sheets for guests, softly lit entryways, a drawer arranged just right so someone won't feel lost. Organizers often give through atmosphere. They gift safety without saying a word. So, yes, organizing is more than aesthetics. It can be a love language, one that says, "You're safe here, and so am I." You know what's powerful? To treat something with intention is to silently say it matters. And every time you organize your home, you send this message to yourself. This space matters. I matter. There's nothing boring about that. You are claiming worth through action, story through structure, healing through harmony. What you're doing isn't about things, it's about thresholds, identity, ownership. To people outside, it's a clean room. To you, it's your emotional blueprint. People ask, why do you care so much about the little things? The straight towel, the alphabetized spice rack, the perfect corner fold. You care because you're paying attention, and attention is love. Maybe no one ever paid that kind of attention to you, so now you give it to your belongings, and in doing so, you learn to give it back to yourself. Your home isn't just your environment, it's your mirror. And when you care for it, you care for you. If this felt like it described you deeply and truly, then you're going to love our next video, The Psychology of People Who Can't Focus Unless the Room is Clean. Because maybe your need for clarity isn't about perfectionism, it's about permission to begin, to breathe, to be. Hit play. We're just getting started.